Okay, so for those of you who are VinFast fans on my channel, here we go. There's a new dealership that's in the DFW area. This is actually in Plano, or Ewing VinFast of Plano. They actually have a Subaru dealership, and so they're adding VinFast to their features or their offerings. So there you go. I actually went there, was it 2 days ago? Spent a lot of time talking to a guy named Oscar. He pretty good guy. Um, and part of it is he's learned about EVs from me as I'm talking to him about EVs. So it's a win-win situation. All right, there you go. Ewing VinFast of Plano. Okay, there you go. There's a picture of the VinFast VF8. The VF8 is the only VinFast available in the US right now. They're hoping that the VF9, which is a 3-row SUV, will come out later this year. And they're looking for a VF6 and a VF7 to come out later in 2025. So for those of you looking for a lower price, that might be a way you go. The car I drove was actually a plus. All right, so chances are by the time you see this, you'll have known I've gotten a chance to test drive a VF8 or a VinFast VF8. So I was doing my preparation. I was about to plan to go up to Dallas, Fort Worth, to go by the Hilly and Pinnacle dealerships in Fort Worth and Grapevine. And I noticed, hey, wait, they have a third dealer. So VinFast has found a third dealer in Plano, Ewing. So I added Ewing VinFast, or Ewing VinFast of Ewing and Plano, or sorry, I can't keep the combination. It has all those three things in it. I just don't remember the orders. But anyway, so I drove up there and I got to test drive a car, and I talked to the salesman for a while. So this video is about them. All right, so first of all, I don't know, it depends how you feel about these things, right? I do live in Texas, and yes, it gets hot, the sun beats down, and you kind of want to have tinted windows. I'll give you that. But I also don't particularly care for it when dealers have already added that package and marked the price up. Okay, so it bothers me a little bit, and these guys have done it. On the other hand, who else am I going to buy a VinFast from? Right? So there's that. If it bothers you, you may not want to go here, but they might cut you a deal. Usually they do that kind of stuff. So whatever, we'll see. Okay, so after walking around looking at, so no salesman came out while I was walking around the lot looking at cars. I think they're that quiet, right? So I think if you want to get a deal, you might have some options, but who knows? Okay, so walk in, and there's a guy behind us that's going to help you. He says, well, I want to test drive a VF8. So we talk a little bit. He gets my driver's license, and I tell him, well, I'm not from Dallas, so I don't know the area that well. So that's okay. I'll come with you. Okay, that's fine. So we followed the course that he laid out. I don't have a problem. I wasn't particularly looking for anything in particular. I mean, it would be nice to take it for like an overnight thing or something, but I just walked in, so he hadn't had time to prepare for that. And from what he said, it is they have some insurance concerns about that. I don't know. Other dealers have let me take the car home, or have said I could take the car home for overnight. And usually my feeling is, I already know I want the car or I don't. I'm just taking a test drive to confirm it is what I think it is. Okay? Usually that's the way I approach it. Um, although the first time I drove Tesla, I didn't know what to expect. I was kind of prepared to, like, I don't like this, and next thing you know, I'm gonna buy a Tesla, right? So anyway, so the salesman, this guy's name is Oscar. We take a test drive, and then we sit there and talk for a while in the car. And so it turns out he has an EV, and I talk about some of the important things, like whether or not you want to have NACS. Okay, so for those of you that have no idea what NACS is, and to be fair, it's not even NACS anymore. Anyway, the North America Charging Standard is basically the interface to Tesla superchargers, which is now, what, J3400, I think, is the standard. But so there's two parts. One is you sign up, the independent chargers, let's call it that. The independent chargers, if they add the J3400 plug, your Tesla can plug in there. Now, not all Teslas can. For example, this car I'm sitting in right now, at the moment, can't. And that's because I don't have the CCS capability. So the J3400 is based upon CCS1 capability, or communications, at least behind the scenes. Okay, so you get the Tesla plug with the CCS communications. Best of both worlds. But if you adapt NACS, you also can sign a deal with Tesla where you can use their superchargers. So you get the best network, the best price, the best availability. So if you have a car that's going to be road tripped, almost certainly you want to go NACS. Now, I don't think VinFast knows yet exactly what they're going to do. It's easy to talk big about driving far, but in reality, this car is not meant for that. Okay? At least not consistently, like every weekend, drive 500 miles. It's not that kind of car. Could it do it? Yes. But would you want to? I would say no, but whatever. That's not the salesman's fault. Anyway, so I'm talking to the salesman about this kind of stuff because he sounds like a salesman and wants to talk to the manufacturing reps and say, well, what about this? What about that? So give him the tools he needs to talk to him. Okay, so we talked about NACS. I asked him if there was a place to see the energy efficiency of the car. Okay. It wasn't all that great. It wasn't. But to be fair, we drove only 2 miles, air conditioning full blast. So it didn't have a chance to even out. So usually you get a spike when you first start, and then after a while, it all evens out to a more reasonable level. So you really need to be doing a trip, at least a short trip. You know, at least 40, 50 miles, let's say that, okay? To get some kind of idea what the efficiency really should be. So, and that's what I told him was, you know, this is what I'm looking for. Here's how you take Tesla's watt hours per mile and convert it to kilowatts per hour so you can compare it to other electric vehicles. So we covered some ground like that. I told him that my daughter had been looking for a 3-row SUV and that she had actually bought a Subaru Ascent. So that's their 3-row. But so he was kind of curious about that. And then we're talking a little bit about the VF6 and VF7 that are coming next year. I don't know. I mean, I think in the current economic scheme of things, you want a cheaper car, not a more expensive car. If you can pull it off, right? Some people have to have bigger cars. Like my daughter, they kind of need to have a bigger car. So that was what they were going for. Now that they have it, they don't have to buy another one. Okay. So anyway, So we talked a bunch about all these various things. And then I asked him about the frunk. Can you show me the frunk? The frunk is about what I interpreted from the pictures. I mean, people like to make a big deal about how small it is, but it is there. And you can put charging cables, water, stuff like that in there. Small things, okay? It has space for a frunk, but the frunk is, a sub-trunk. It has space for a sub-trunk, but the sub-trunk has a bunch of styrofoam in it. So I don't know. But so we looked around at all these various things, and it was kind of cool. Really enjoyed talking to Oscar. And if VinFast is in your area of interest, definitely look Oscar up, talk to him. I would be more than happy if people went and talked to him and ordered the VinFast. But anyway. Okay, so after a while talking to Oscar, and I really like talking to Oscar. Great guy. I asked him about getting a card because I'm sure he said his name, but I'm not too good at remembering names unless I have something to remember it by, like a piece of paper. So anyway, he got a card, and he got his manager. So his manager came out and asked me about the various things. I mean, they already know I'm not going to get a VF8 today. So they're asking about the VF9. I told them my daughter's story, but that's not going to happen, right? And then, so they were talking about the VF5. The VF6 and the VF7 coming late next year. And so, what they were trying to say was, well, it's going to be a lower cost option, and I believe that. Yes, that's what I see and hear. So, is that possible? Yeah, maybe. But, to tell you the truth, I already have 2 cars. I'm not really in the market to buy another car at this moment. And if I were looking to buy another car, I would probably want it to be able to run FSD. And I definitely want it to be able to run on Tesla superchargers. Okay? Yes, that's how I feel about those things. But just because I feel that strongly that way doesn't mean that's the right thing for you. To each his own, right? You each have to make the decision based upon what it is you need. Okay. So anyway, Mark was talking to me about these things. Mark was the manager guy, if I remember right. So he was talking about these various things, and I told him, well, I got started with the VinFast thing because I just happened to take a short video of a VF3, and everybody freaked out about it. That's how I got into this VinFast thing. If it weren't for that VF3, none of this would have happened. Okay? Whatever. Peace and harmony is all good. So anyway, while we're talking, he mentioned something about a pickup. And I said, oh, it was something like a Wild, right? I don't remember. I didn't remember exactly. Just some reason Wild stuck in my mind there. And sure enough, yes, it was the Wild. Of course, that's really just a concept car, a truck. And what's interesting is Oscar saying something about Rivian. So when I go back and look it up, some people are saying comparing the size to a Rivian R1T. Okay, I'm not sure if that's completely accurate, but it's definitely not a Ford F-150. Okay, but at least in the concept, the window rolls down, rolls up or something, and so you can extend the bed, which sounds pretty cool. And they're talking about a relatively low price, which I find astounding. Of course, they're going to make it in Vietnam, so you won't get the tax credit for it, but whatever. If it's a lower price, I can forgive not getting tax credit. Anyway, so I told him, that's what I told him was, oh, if you bring that pickup, I definitely have to talk to you. Okay? And actually Mark saying, well, I want to get one too. I said, well, okay, you get VIN 1, I'll get VIN 2. And he laughs and said, well, it's not going to happen that way. Okay, whatever, we'll see what happens. All right, so, well, I don't know. So anyway, the main purpose of this video, really for you guys, is to make you aware of the fact there is a dealership there. There are 2 other dealerships in DFW area, but they didn't have any cars at the time I was on their lots. Now, I just drove through, right? If you don't have any cars showing, I don't even want to stop, because I don't really want to talk to salesmen anyway. Normally I know. You know, some of those dealerships, like Toyota dealerships, they come out and surround you. So, or at least one guy will be there looking to come out and start talking to you as soon as you show your face. Okay, whatever. Peace and harmony, it's all good. We're all okay. Anyway, I want to make you aware of the fact that that dealership is there, that they do have cars, and it sounds like they're serious about trying to get their business model going. So that's a good thing if you're looking in this area for a VinFast. Okay, there you go. I hope for those of you who are interested, you take the time to go check. Okay.